Okay guys, now we're going to talk about non-perfect square numbers. If you take the square root of a non-perfect square number, your answer is not going to be a whole number. Okay, so when we talk about non-perfect squares, those are called irrational numbers. And you'll need to know how to approximate the value of an irrational number and how to find that number on a number line. Okay, so you're going to use the calculator to be able to find the approximate value, and then you're just going to round it. Okay, so if you take a look at the table on the left, it says the side length of the square is given to us, and they want us to find the area of the square. Okay, as you can see, to find the area, we have to take the side length and square it. Okay, so we're going to do 1.7 squared. Okay, so in your calculator, you're going to do 1.7 times 1.7. Okay, and when you do that, you're going to get 2.89. Okay, and then you're going to do 2.2 squared. You can enter it in the calculator using parentheses and then just put the squared symbol right behind it. To find the squared symbol, you're going to press the key that says x squared. Okay, so 2.2 squared is going to give us 4.84. Then we're going to do 7.9 squared. That's 62.41. Feel free to pause the video at any time if I'm going too fast. And then when we do 10.2 squared, you get 104.04. Okay, and so on the next table, we're going to do just like what we did on the front page. They give us the area of a square, and they want us to go back and find the side length. Remember, to do that, you're going to have to take the square root of the area. Remember, like we said on the other video, the square root can be found using second and then x squared on your TI-84. Okay, so on this one, we're going to take the square root of 3. And it's going to give us a decimal approximation, but we're going to round it to the nearest tenth. Okay, so when we round to the nearest tenth, we're going to round that 1 decimal place. And remember, when you're rounding, you have to look at the number behind the place you're rounding to. Okay, so if we're doing the square root of 3, you have to look at the number behind the tenths place. Okay, so when I do square root of 3 in the calculator, I get this long number, and it's about like 1.7320, and then it keeps going. Okay, so when you round, you have to look at the number behind the place that you're rounding to. So we're rounding to the nearest tenth. So we're looking at this first digit. Okay, but we have to check out the number behind it. If the number behind it is 5 or higher, you round up. If it's lower than 5, then you round down. In this case, 3 is less than 5, so we're going to round down. Okay, so the area of this was 3. When we take the square root, our side length is going to end up being 1.7. Okay, take some time, put that in your calculator, find the square root of the rest of these. Okay, so square root of 30, that gives you 5.5 once you round it. Square root of 62 is 7.9 once you round it, and then the square root of 105 is 10.2. Okay, use your calculator to round each of the numbers below to the nearest tenth. Remember, that's 1 decimal place. And then plot each letter on the number line. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video, find those numbers rounded to the nearest tenth, and then log back on to the video or restart the video, and then we'll look at where they fall on the number line. Okay, now that you have gone and found the length of each of these sides, let's see where they fall on the number line. Okay, the square root of 50 is around 7.1. That's a little bit more than 7, so I'm going to draw a dot here and write letter A. The square root of 89 is about 9.4. That's a little bit after 9, but not quite halfway. So there's letter B. Okay, letter C, square root of 77. That is the square root of 77. Square root of 77 is 8.8. 8.8 is almost 9. So here's letter C. Okay, letter D, square root of 28 is 5.3. That's almost halfway, but not quite. So there's letter D. E, square root of 130 is around 11.4. That's almost halfway between 11 and 12. And then last but not least, letter F, square root of 60. That's around 7.7. And that's a little bit more than halfway, but not quite 8. There is letter F.